I want to talk a little bit about keeping warm. It is very important when you're out camping in the wilderness that you keep your body temperature regulated, and especially in spring, in fall, and particularly in winter, you've got to keep warm. It also applies in summer as well, because summer, you can have cool periods and you don't want to have your body temperature drop too low and get hypothermic. So applies really all seasons, but I'm specifically talking mostly about winter right now. One of the things you need to remember is the acronym COLD. The C in COLD stands for clean. The cleaner you are, the cleaner your skin is, the better your body's able to regulate through either sweating or perspiration, whatever. The cleaner your clothes are, the more they're going to retain any insulation abilities they have. So keeping clean is number one. The O is do not overheat. Overheating will result in you sweating, which is going to result in you getting cold. Obviously, when your body sweats, it's its way of getting rid of heat through the moisture on your skin. And of course, if you sweat in the cold by hiking and not taking off some of the clothes that you're wearing, you are going to get really cold once you stop moving. That leads into the next letter, L, which is for layers. Having multiple layers is very important because you can then regulate your temperature. So right now I've got a hat on, I can take that off. That's easy enough. I've got a big parka on. I can undo this, unzip it if necessary. I've got a fleece underneath. I can unzip this. If I get really hot, I can be just in a t-shirt. I'll often also wear sort of a thin puffy layer under as well if it's really cold. But having layers allows you to regulate either by unzipping things or taking things off your temperature as you're moving around and then when you're standing still. So layers, very important. The D is keeping dry. Getting wet, especially in winter, is terrible. Because of course, once you are wet, most of the clothing that you're wearing is not going to insulate you. It's going to be cold. You're going to have things freeze on you. So keep dry as much as possible. That relates back to the overheating with the sweating. You're getting wet, and that's going to make you colder as well. So if you fall in any water or you get soaked, try to dry out your clothes or whatever it is that's got wet. Now, if you're camping, one of the most obvious things that you're going to do to keep warm is have a campfire. Obviously, sitting around a campfire is going to keep you nice and warm while you're sitting around the fire. But gathering enough wood is one thing that a lot of people don't think about. You need a lot of wood, especially in the wintertime. If you're going to be sitting around that campfire throughout the day or all night, you're going to need way more wood than you think. A good rule of thumb is gather as much wood as you think you need and then get about 10 times that. You're going to go through a lot, especially if you're using it to keep warm. If you're using it just to cook on, you're not going to need anywhere near as much. If it's summertime and it's warm, you may not need to sit around a fire. You're definitely not going to need as much. But in winter specifically, you're going to need plenty of wood, way more than you think. When you're sleeping in a tent, there's a number of ways you're going to need to keep warm. One is making sure that you're insulated well from below. Now, you lose heat in a few different ways. There's convection, so the wind blowing around you blows any heat that your body's generating away. You've got conduction, that is when you're up against something that's cold. Two surfaces, one that's colder is going to pull heat away from the one that is warmer. And then, of course, from evaporation. So if you're wet, that's why when you sweat, the sweat evaporates the heat away from you. So that's another way. So you want to avoid, like I said earlier, getting wet because you're then going to have that evaporation happening. If it's really windy, get out of the wind so you can avoid as much convection as possible. But when you're sleeping in your tent, you're most likely lying on the ground. And then you're going to be conducting heat away from your body into the ground. So it's very important that you have insulation below you. What I tend to use is a couple of closed cell foam mats. Put 1 or 2 of those down. They come in a variety of styles, either ones that roll up or unfold. And I also use a small inflatable mat, which I put on top of that. That really is just adding for the comfort as well. And sometimes I even bring an extra sleeping bag and lay that out as extra insulation from below. The more you have below you, not only the more comfortable you're going to be, the warmer you're going to be throughout the night. And then, of course, have a good sleeping bag. Have something that's rated for the kind of temperatures that you're going into. I camp a lot in winter, so I have a sleeping bag that's rated down to -34. Now, what I think that really means is that I will stay alive at -34, but I'm not going to be that comfortable. Even in something like that, once you hit the limit of that, you're going to need extra. So you may have an insert that you're going to use inside. You can get fleece inserts that are great inside your sleeping bag, or just put on some extra clothes inside there as well, and keep yourself warm that way. So some of the keys to keep them warm: remember cold. You're going to keep clean, don't overheat, wear layers, keep dry, make sure you have enough wood if you're going to have a campfire, and make sure you have plenty of insulation above you and below you when you are sleeping outside in the winter.
Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you like these videos, hit subscribe and that little bell there that will get you notifications of when there's a new video.